former minister in Salem, Massachusetts. In fact, Reverend Paris came after Burroughs. Left Salem because he was in debt. Anyway, even though he was a minister, definitely could recite the Lord's Prayer, he was accused of, convicted of being a witch and was hanged. Well, now, Increase Mather, Cotton Mather's brother, basically said it is better that 10 suspected witches should escape rather than one innocent person should be condemned. Well, John Willard, deputy constable, Salem, Massachusetts, he became really upset that it was his job to arrest suspected witches. Well, he was kind of, these people that were really arresting, are they really witches? And the problem is, he was hanged. Now, there was a farmer in Salem, Massachusetts, by the name of Giles Corey. An elderly man in his 60s. Giles Corey, landowner, wealthy, was accused of being a witch. Now, one of the ways that, do I have this? No, I don't have. All right. One of the things that happened was that they could not get Giles Corey to confess, yes, I'm a witch. So they used a method to convince Mr. Corey to confess. What they did, and I've thought about using this as a testing method in this class, called pressing, in which you put someone on the floor, on their back, you put boards on their front, and you put heavy rocks on them. It's called pressing. And of course the idea is that in order to get rid of the pain, you'll confess to anything. Well, allegedly, the last words that Giles Corey spoke was, more stones. Okay, so anyway, lots of people are being arrested and charged with witchcraft and are being hanged on Gallows Hill. Now here's the tragedy. There was a child, 4.5-year-old, daughter of Sarah Good, known as Dorcas Good. Now what her real name was, don't know. Anyway, Sarah Good was accused of being a witch, was hanged. Dorcas was put in jail and was tortured. Are you kidding me? And later executed for being a witch. A 4.5-year-old child. Are you kidding me? Well, this is an infection that is spreading through Salem and through the area around Salem. Paranoia. Well, comes, okay. Samuel Parris, minister during the time, the people were concerned. 200 people were accused, 19 hanged, 5 died in prison. Corey was pressed to death. And of course, this is due to political instability. and the belief of the Puritans. Well, okay. Confession, force, or coercion. If you were an outcast in Salem town or Salem village, you weren't following Puritan values, so you were probably a witch. Birthmarks, disabilities, if you had extraordinary strength. And of course, if I don't like you, I may say you're a witch. Well, of course, the idea of seeing a image, spectral evidence. No. Well, every Puritan from England lived in Massachusetts, normal people, witches. Puritans from England lived in Massachusetts, normal people. So, strict moral code, all sins, from sleeping in church to stealing food, should be punished, and God would punish sinful behavior. The Puritans came to America, came from England to America with the idea of gaining religious freedom, because the Puritan ideas were out of alignment with the ideas of the Church of England. Okay, Puritans come to America, 3 groups, settled principally in Massachusetts. Now, the Puritans, because of their religious beliefs, did not want any other religious beliefs, people, close to their colonies. Question. They believed that what the Puritans were saying was true. Anything that anybody else was saying was absolute fiction. Okay. So, Satan was acting in the world, center of diseases, catastrophes, bad fortune, actively recruits witches and wizards. Now, remember, Massachusetts, as well as the other northern colonies, were in a state of political instability. There were problems in Massachusetts, Salem town, Salem village, with the natives, and with the French, and with poor crops, and with disease. And then you have a new minister coming in with a slave from the Barbados that is basically adding to the boredom of some of the teenage girls. And of course, there were feuds between Salem town and Salem village. Okay, well, all right. Communal society, hard work is equal to godlessness. John Bunyan's Total Progress. What is happening is that society is changing. The idea that the religious beliefs of the Puritans were not necessarily the absolute. And of course, disputes between the village ministers. Okay. Lack of leadership. There were 2 groups, basically, in Salem town, Salem village, that were fighting each other, the Putnam and the Porters. Okay. One of the ministers, I don't have to remember daily, questioned out the legitimacy of his mission. Of course, George Burroughs question of money, accused and hanged of being a witch during the witch trials. Deedat Lawson, pro Porter, left to avoid political opposition. Paris, Samuel Paris, pro Putnam. And of course, under his time, this is where the Salem witch trial took place. Joseph Green replaced Putnam, or Paris, didn't take part in the factions. Okay, well, a book on witchcraft had been published by Cox Mather. The Puritans were at war with the Native Americans. Let's face it, situation in Massachusetts was that the devil was active and the devil was involved in our everyday life because of the conflict with the Native Americans, the diseases, the poor crops, and so on and so forth. And, of course, in the strict beliefs of the Puritans, you could very easily say the devil was involved. Okay. Now, were there any witches? No. Why did it happen? Well, politics between the two villages, economic issues, religion, weak ministers. Now, here is something historian. The situation ends 2 years later when the governor of Massachusetts' wife is accused of being a witch. Wrong thing. Well, the governor of Massachusetts pardoned all of those who were in prison on witchcraft trials. Of the 200 people accused of witchcraft, 25 had died. Okay. Why? Well, some people say Tituba, being from the Barbados, added fuel to the imagination of the three girls, and they were playing around for attention. Now, one of the theories that has been brought forward is that there was a grain crop of rye that actually were infected by a fungus. And this fungus could have been the catalyst to cause the instability, the strange visions, the strange actions of the girl. Okay, we really don't know. Will we ever know? No. Okay. Now, Salem Town, Salem Village. Salem Village still exists. Salem Town was renamed Danvers. In fact, Salem Village, if you want to go, well, tomorrow will be October. If you want to go back east and go to the witch capital of the world, there's where you go. Okay. Now, have any of you heard about the play The Crucible? I think that was, I don't know, was it last year or year before last that was presented here at Longview? Okay, let me give you an idea. This is way out of scope of what we're studying, but by the same token, I think you need to be aware of it. A play written by a playwright by the name of Arthur Miller, written in the 1950s, focuses on the Salem witch trials, issues of greed, guilt, motivation, and morality. Now, a drama influenced by the ending of World War II, a desire for change in America, feelings of guilt, exploitation, and identity. Premiered January 1953 in New York City. Now, Arthur Miller was one of the husbands of a sex goddess in the 50s and 60s, a woman by the name of Marilyn Monroe. In fact, Arthur Miller was married 3 times. The Crucible was written in the early 1950s, and what was happening in America in the 1950s, well, anyway, World War II had ended. The Soviet Union, which had been the allies of the United States, and Joseph Stalin, was changing. The United States and the Soviet Union were competing against each other. Space travel, in fact, the Soviets launched the first man-made satellite in space, 1957. This was Sputnik, nuclear weapons development, and so on and so forth. Well, there was a guy, a Republican, who was a senator, Joseph McCarthy. He was a nut job. He was chairman of the Committee on Un-American Activities, House Committee on Un-American Activities. Now, he believed, as did many people at this point in time, that during World War II and after World War II, the United States had been infiltrated by communists, and the communists were trying to take the United States over internally. And of course, McCarthy was wanting to get the names of as many communists as possible. Well, filmmakers, directors, actors accused of attending communist meetings. Now, I know this is way outside of the scope of this class,